So I'll take you in 50 minutes through 2 years of development for Vega. We started in January 2024. I'm Matthias, and my company. Does it work? Yes. My company is DNA.inc. Just a short setup who we are. We are a European-based company. Our concept is to partner with large companies on large projects, especially in media, streaming, sports, and automotive area. And we cover all devices and platforms, and since last year also Vega. As I said, we are rooted in Europe, European company. We have more than 100 people right now in 13 different countries and 3 offices in Amsterdam, Madrid, and in Valencia, and still growing hard. So much for me and my company. What are we going to talk about today? First, short description of what the app was that we ported. It was an existing app that we brought over to Vega. Then about the plan we used to do that. The actual journey in the last 1.5 years, some lessons learned, and what's next. Well, 2 years ago, I was still working as iOS developer, making the original app for Apple TV and Apple devices. And it was released end of 2023, and then started maintenance mode. Are you interested in maintenance mode? I'm not. So when the opportunity came along to do the app for Vega in React Native, I was the one who raised his hands and said, yes, I'm going to do it. What was the app? It was an audio-video streaming app with a lot of live audio content. You see one screenshot here. With some filters, a menu, lots of different music items you can choose. Player, favorites, search, whatever you expect from a streaming app. The team I could start with was me and somebody from the web team and one React Native developer. And the first challenge was to see how can we possibly make an app that was developed by lots of teams with lots of people over more than 1 year in Vega in a very short time frame. So let's start. We need some plan how to do it because we don't have product, we don't have any some features that we have to implement. I want to break down the presentation in 3 different important concepts that we used. The first one being move fast, do not break things. The first idea was to have the app up and running as fast as possible and have a working prototype to show to our customer that we can do it. And it worked. After 6 weeks, we had something. How we did that, I'll come to that later. We wanted to have a working app at all times. So in case there was something like Vega is going live in 2 months, we say, we can do it. Vega is going live in 5 months, we can do it. What we did was just always keeping the most important features in and then gradually improving, but making sure it always works. Important for moving fast and not breaking things is also to work closely together with your partners, in that case Amazon and product, and also to make sure that the important logic we need, like in-app purchase, was tested early in the process to see where we have any problems and can work on them fast. Second part I want to talk about is reusing code and logic. So like I said, what we had was the apps on iOS, the app on web, the app on Android. What we did not have was 150 Jira tickets to tell us what to do. So what we did is we looked at the existing code, The truth is in the code, so the code was developed for more than a year. There were lots of iterations going over, a lot of errors found, a lot of logic was changed. So what's in the code at the moment when we use it is our truth, and we try to copy that one in our app. As I said, we also have a lot of live audio in the app. Timing that is quite hard, if anybody ever did do that, with caching, with live point, with latency. So also there, you don't want to reinvent the wheel when you only have 2 people, but you want to copy code that was already done in other platforms. And the third really important point I want to make is anticipate change. Change in the team. We only were 3 developers, probably coming more people to the team. The Vega OS as the Vega development environment, as the Vega React Native dialect, all were still in development, so there was to be about changes there. And of course, our sister apps on iOS, Android, and web also were still developing all the time we were developing. So things were changing, and maybe even services change in a way that we cannot use them anymore with the old code, so we have to be able to adapt fast. So that's the plan. Now let's do it. As we had not much time, it also means that you have to pick your battles. And I found one nice quote from Jeff Bezos, very fitting: disagree and commit, which is what we did quite often. So as long as it works, and it's relatively simple, so it can be changed later, just don't discuss, put it in, and if it doesn't work later on or we need to change it, we do that. So let's have a look at how we navigated through the project in the last 1.5 years with respect to the 3 concepts I just mentioned. So moving fast, not breaking things, means communication. Communicate very often with all the important people that are involved. For the client, what we did in the first 6 months was proactive monthly progress videos where we said, okay, this is what we've done. This is what we're going to do. These are the challenges we have at the moment. And these are the important features we implemented. By doing that, we kept the client happy, and he knew that what we are doing was working. Also with Amazon, the first half a year, we had a lot of discussions on the internal boards. It was still secret, so we could not talk openly. And when we came closer to the release date, we also got one-on-one expertise calls with some experts and some frequent syncs with Amazon, which was really, really helpful. I'm really grateful for that. And also, as I said, we didn't have any tickets from products, what to do, but we still need to be sure that what we are doing is relevant for the customer and for the app. So we had somebody from product being part of our daily stand-up, so she could always be sure that what we do is really important for the app and are the most prioritized items. Reusing code. Well, the presenter before me, just Christian, had it about reuse your Vega app on other systems. We did it our way around. We reused code we already have, and that was fortunately web, based on React. So the first idea was to just take that React code, throw it onto Vega and see what happens. And thank God, it worked. After a few weeks, we got it working in a rudimentary version with the existing web code, which saved us a lot of time in setting up the whole project. And we were even able to get some of the parts and some of the logic extracted from the web code into frameworks that we could reuse without taking care of it ourselves. And that was mainly the client-server communication with all the parsing of the web requests and responses. What we also did, we reused a lot of the logic from Apple and Android code just by looking at, okay, we need this feature, like a favorite feature, what is connected to that, how is it implemented in iOS, how is it implemented in Android, try to extract the logic, copy it over to our React Native app. Third pillar, anticipate change. Well, one of the most important things you should take away from this talk, and I'm a big fan of simplicity. I've seen a lot of architectures and complex structures come and go in the last 20 years, and I really, really think that simplicity is the answer to a lot of things. Especially in our case, when you need to change, when you know that change is coming, like things are 6 months from now, things will look different because the operating system evolved, because React Native evolved, because the feature you implemented half a year ago is not necessary anymore because also the apps evolved. Then it's a bit senseless to put a lot of time into complexity. So make it simple, make it changeable, make it reversible. Which also by accident is a nice quote from Jeff Bezos, two-way doors versus one-way doors. So it's better to have 2 or more options than only one. What did we learn? Well, move fast, do not break things. It did work. We had a smooth launch after 1.5 years. We were even done, I think, 4 or 5 weeks before the official deadline, and we didn't touch it anymore because, okay, it's approved, so leave it like that, and all the new features come into the first version after. The team was happy most of the time, and me too. Our client was happy most of the time. And any issues we could have had were identified and solved early in the process. Reusing was also really successful. So being able to just use the React web code and adapt it within a few weeks to React Native was really helpful for the start. But we also found that React is not React Native. There are some concepts that are different on web, like you don't have inner purchase. Some concepts are different, like cookie storage and navigation logic. Extracting logic from sister apps, from Apple and Android, also was easy to do in the beginning, but in the run of 1.5 years, they changed a lot. Sometimes you implement the feature, and then you thought, okay, I think I'm missing a part of it. How was it done? And it was completely different. And that made it quite difficult to sometimes keep up with copying logic from existing apps instead of having tickets. For anticipating change, complexity reduction is really a thing. It does work. We had several times that people onboarded the team, and I had teams where onboarding took months. In our case, onboarding was a matter of a few days. So I had people who just joined the team, and 3 days later, they could just contribute to the app. It was quite easy to modify and refactor things that we did, because we tried to keep it simple. So we did not really have to change a whole architecture. We could just take small parts and refactor them. And I also saw the opposite. When you have a complex architecture and complex logic, it's quite hard to find out. So if I look into iOS and Android code to get out some logic, and it was implemented in a complex way, there was no way you could get it out, even if it was only a small feature. Okay, we released the app. Is it the end of the journey? Of course not. So we smoothly sailed into the safe harbor of the first app, but it's just the beginning. There are hopefully more apps on Vega to be implemented for our client and also for other clients for Amazon. Almost last slide. A big project always has a lot of people involved, so I also would like to thank everybody who supported that, especially Amazon and the Vega team, because how often do you get the opportunity to work on a new OS with a new React Native dialect? I don't think that often. It was really quite a journey. Our client believed in us, in our approach to move fast and to use simple architecture, and it worked out. All the colleagues from all other platforms that helped a lot, and of course my team and my company.